Hello, and welcome to another tutorial for Unity character customization. In this video, I'll be showcasing the compatibility with character customization and VRoid Studio. Unity character customization allows you to edit characters in the asset store, changing their clothing and appearance. It also is compatible with Character Creator 3 and VRoid Studio. So, VRoid Studio is a 3D character creator that allows you to make anime-style characters, and once you've edited them in VRoid Studio to achieve the look you want, you can bring them into Unity. But once inside Unity, there isn't a very easy way to edit your VRoid character, especially runtime in games. That's where character customization comes in, because it allows you to change your character and how they look real-time in the game. So let's take a look at VRoid Studio and see what's needed in order to get all this set up. The first thing is you'll need to download VRoid Studio and create your character. Once your character is made, you can export it as a VRM file. There's a wonderful tutorial by Strawberry Moondrops that is going to be linked in the description below, and you can take a look and go through it to see how to export a character from VRoid Studio into a VRM file to then bring into Unity. So if you're following this video, please take a moment to like and subscribe to Strawberry Moondrops. Now, once you have this VRM file, Unity cannot recognize the file just by having it. So what you need to do is you need to download UniVRM. Link will also be in the description below, which is a package that will allow you to recognize the VRM and turn it into a prefab so that you can then use it within Unity. These are all preparations for VRoid Studio, independent of character customization or anything else, just so that you can get your character into Unity. And one thing to note is it's important to have both packages, the latest package, but also the latest shader package, because otherwise you'll have some shader errors within Unity. Over inside Unity, you'll go into Assets, Import Package, Custom Package, and that's how you'll bring in the UniVRM. Now, it is also important to do this step first before you bring in the VRM file itself, because order matters. If you bring in the VRM file, Unity doesn't know what to do with it. But once you have those packages from that Git project, then your VRM file will be recognized and turned into a prefab when you import it. So over inside the project, I've just made several characters inside VRoid Studio, like this elf girl right here. And after I've exported her and a couple of her variations, I ended up with these VRM files and prefabs. So we have an elf girl with a black dress, we have an elf girl with a school outfit, an elf girl with a green skin and a red hair, and an elf girl with a dress and a larger bust size to show that we can support different kinds of proportions. Now, once we have these different characters, you can make whatever characters you want. The next thing you want to do is you want to add character customization, the package, into your project. So to do that, again, you'll go into Windows, Package Manager, and you will find character customization. You will update to the latest import and bring it all in. Once you do all that, you will have this character customization folder. And inside character customization, you will see that there are different scenes. And so we have the game, gender, male and female scene. We want to go into build settings, file build settings. And we want to take these scenes and we want to bring them in, because in order for our demo to work, these scenes need to be there so that you can transition between your game scene and your gender selection and your character editing on a per gender basis. So now in just a blank scene, it's important that before dealing with character customization, you're verifying that your prefabs do indeed work. So if we take one of these elf girls or whatever character you have and you bring her in, you'll be able to see that she does indeed show up and looks fine and all of that. So you want to do this because you want to isolate any problems with your importing process before you're actually dealing with character customization. We have it all set up properly. We can go into our game scene, don't save. The next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that character customization works. And of course, out of box, it should just by adding those scenes. Now let's hit play. We can go customize character, select female. We see Unity Chan with just her head, and of course we can see her, you know, being customized and all of that, and her body and her legs, and so it is working the way we like, and she's animating. Now what we want to do is we want to replace Unity Chan with the female characters that we've created in VRoid Studio. So in order to do that, the very first thing we need to do is we need to make a new character base. We have a tool for this. So inside character customization, prefab generator, we can open up this window. We also want to select one of our prefabs from VRoid. So we'll take the first elf girl. It doesn't really matter which one you use. We'll do a brand new scene just so we're not modifying our current scene. It doesn't matter because the scene won't be saved. We're just using this as a placeholder. First thing we'll do is we'll unpack this prefab. So we'll go prefab, unpack completely. Next, we'll pull in the character into full character, and we'll pull in the root into character root. Now because this is a female character, is male will be turned off. Now we can minimize this. The files that will be created into generated assets, this folder. So what we'll do is we will generate the base character, and the base character was created. If we now turn off the elf girl for a moment, you can drag in this base, and what you see is there are no skin mesh renders. They've all been removed because those get added on based on your customization in real time. So all you have is the skeleton and the animator and character builder set to female type. If you accidentally didn't turn this on, this toggle effectively toggles this. So you can modify that. So we have the base, which is wonderful, but now over in character customization, we have character builder female. We can rename this one to old. This was our Unity Chan base. The bases are dependent on which character you have. And we'll drag it into prefabs. So now we have the base. Now let's turn the elf girl back on. And this time we want to generate pieces. And to create pieces, there is a distinction in VRoid models because all of them have this hair object and this Hero 1 skin mesh render, which is okay, and there's also secondary. So there's a few things in the VRoid setup that we do not want, and the reason being is because if you create pieces and each piece has children, game objects with the same name, we're checking for similar names, and we're going to run into errors with non-distinct names. So one thing to do is you can remove secondary and just delete it, because you don't want each piece to have this secondary object, which is of no importance to a single outfit piece. Then we have face, body, root, hair, and hair. This should actually be okay. Let's give it a shot. Previously, I might have made further modifications when I was trying this out, but we'll do it in real time right now and make sure that everything's working correctly. So again, character customization, prefab generator. This time, we'll take the elf girl, still full body. The root is still the root, and is male is off. So now if we go generate pieces, let's take a look at what our pieces look like. So we have a body, we have a face, and we have hair, right? Let's drag in the body. Elf girl will turn her off again. So let's see what the body has. The body has body, root, and hair. So we don't want the body to have hair, because now if we drag in the face and we take a look and we see face, root, hair. Now because if both of these have hair, which by the way has nothing besides being a transform, right? So now it's going to go through all the children and find two hairs and get confused. So we don't want that. The only place where we want the hair is on this hair object, and that's going to have hair and hairs, right? So this is just how the hierarchy of the VRoid model is. You'll have to make root can be the same. You always want to have a root, right? That's your bones. And so those will be called the same, and that's fine. But when it comes to all the other components, they need to be different. So a great way to fix this, you can just go into your body or all your different components that are generated, minimize the root, and now for hair we can just delete it, right? So now since you've gotten inside the prefab modify, that's permanently modified. Now again with the face, the root we want, the face we want because it's got the skin mesh render, all the good stuff, but this hair empty component, this is an issue. Now of course an alternative could have been back over here in the elf girl. If we had done elf root, we could have deleted the hair, right? Had we deleted the hair and generated the pieces, these body and face pieces wouldn't have had that extra hair object with just a transform. But then you wouldn't have been able to generate the hair, which you also need. So either you could manually create the hair, or you can create the pieces. Now if you wanted to manually create the hair, let's take a moment to undo that. So the way you can manually create pieces, I'm not sure if I've covered that in previous tutorials, but it's worth noting and it is documented. But all an outfit is, it's really the character with every other skin mesh render removed, like when we're talking about a piece. Instead of going through this editor, all this tool window is doing, right? If we were to go and remove all of these components, literally every single one of these, because all we need is the transform for when it comes to a new piece, right? So now say we wanted to create hairs manually. It doesn't need face. It doesn't need body. Oops, I accidentally duplicated. That's not what I intended to delete. We keep the root, we keep this parent with no components, and we can keep the hair, and we can keep this hair. So now if we were to take this, right, we can call it hair manually made. And now if we drag this in to generated assets, we can see that hair manually made, right? We can delete it by the way. But hair manually made, which we did manually without the tool, and hair, you can call whatever you want as long as each of these pieces is distinct, right? Their name needs to be distinct, so that's why I can't have two hair 001. But as you can see, in terms of their structure, they both have the root and they both have hair, root and hair. So this is a manual way of creating a particular piece if you were to delete hair. Anyway, that was a significant tangent, but it's not important. We don't need hair manual. I'm going to delete it. That was just a demonstration because we already have hair. So now we have the three pieces for this particular character. I guess we'll create another folder. There. And we'll call this one VRoid pieces. And now from generated assets, just for the sake of organizing, we can take this body, this hair, and this, and put it into VRoid pieces. So this is where we're going to store our pieces because we're going to be generating more assets, right? So now we have the elf girl with the dress, but we want to maybe take one of these other elf girls and kind of try one of them instead. So why don't we take this one with the green hair, because she's very or the green skin and red hair. She's very distinct. She's also wearing a different school uniform instead of a dress. So the same thing here. We drag this. We don't want to permanently modify this prefab because these are the prefabs that came in from VRoid. These are source ones. So we're gonna prefab. We're gonna unpack completely just so we're not accidentally applying changes to the original. Now we don't need a base because we already have the base. The base, it doesn't matter if we did a base with this one or with the girl with the black dress. It doesn't matter. But what we need is we need pieces from her because we need a piece that's going to have her green skin, a piece that's going to have her red hair, a piece that's going to have her school uniform, right? And so similarly, after we've unpacked this prefab, we have the same issue. We have the secondary object which has these VRoid components and transforms and stuff that we don't need for character customization, and we're going to run into issues with every piece having the secondary game object that's called secondary. So we can delete this. We can go into character customization prefab generator. And like before, what we can do is we can either delete the hair and make it manually, or we can remove the hairs from inside our new prefabs once we've made them. And the big problem here is it's because hairs has this hair parent, that's this transform that's empty. If hairs was just this object, like if all hairs had was this, in fact, that's another way we can do. We can delete this hair parent and just do this hairs. right? So now you can see that the top level is just a transform with a skin mesh render, a transform with a skin mesh render, and a transform with a skin mesh render. So that's another alternative. Now take the elf girl, take the root. Remember that she is a female, so we gotta toggle that off to make sure that we're you know, properly referencing stuff. And now we can go and generate pieces. So we generated pieces. Now we look at the new body. This is the green skin and school uniform body, and this is the green skin face, and this is the red hair hair. And again, if we look inside this body, it's just the body and root, which is what we want. There's no hair. If we look at this face, it is just the face and root, no hair. And if we look at the hair, then it's just the root and hairs. Oh, sorry, this was the wrong one. We're looking at this one. This is the red hair, and it's root and hair. And it's not even, it doesn't even have this parent hair. So it'll be good to verify just to make sure that between this hair, which has hairs and hair, and that hair, they should both work. So now we can go ahead and delete this elf girl 03. Now notice how our prefabs are called the same thing, right? Because that's how they were from exporting into VRoid Studio. And if we drag into body, we can't drag into VR pieces because we already have a body there, right? So we need to rename this as something else. We can rename it as body 02. We'll rename this one as face 02, and we can rename this one as hair 002. Now we can take these and drag them into VRoid pieces. So just so it's all organized in the same place. So we have pieces, we have a character base. Now we can go and proceed with the rest of the setup. So character customization system, we'll go to our scenes and we'll go into the game scene. Don't save this scene because you know, it's just all set up. So here we have character spawning that's referencing the original character base, female old. Now we have a new female, so we need to go and reference the VRoid female base, and we need to save this scene. We need to do the same with, so in the gender scene there's no spawning, but in the male scene there is spawning, and it's not important in the male scene because we're dealing with the female character, but we might as well change this reference for consistency and hit save. And finally, in the female scene, spawning, instead of the old, we want it to reference the female. Hit save. Back over in the game scene. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to actually create outfits. These are scriptable objects that are going to be referencing the pieces that we create, right? So inside of resources, we have scriptable outfit models female. And we already have some existing ones that we used for Unity Chan. And we can use the existing ones and make modifications as needed later on down the road. So instead of Chan here, we can call this you know, elf hair. That's what's going to show up in our UI. Hair icon, you can create your own icons or ask the artist on your team to do that. Now, the outfit can be, the category can be hair. We can use the existing categories. Now, when it comes to outfit pieces, it was using Unity Chan's outfit pieces. And this is where we need to use our new pieces that we created from VRoid. So hair 1, right? Now we can change the number of outfit pieces to 1 because Unity Chan had many different hair outfit pieces, her hair loopies, her bow tie, all that kind of stuff. But here it's a single piece, a single prefab that has all of the hair for the elf girl, so her base hair color. So, and that's it. This hair is done. And now we need to look at body. So body 1, we can call it elf body, or we can call it, better yet, maybe elf dress, because this is the black dress one. And over here, it's going to be referencing the original body. Again, this is just a single piece. So we modify the list. We got to make sure that we're not having other things from Unity Chan because we're going to run into problems if we do that. So make sure we don't have that. Now for category, we picked category F1. If we take a moment to see what the categories are, F1 is body, F0 is hair, and F2 is legs, which might need to be renamed because we don't have specifically legs. Instead, what we have is body, face, hair. So this one can be called face F2. And again, this is just going to be what the category name is going to look like within the UI. We want to make sure we have no default scriptable objects because we're going to have some confusion there. Now also the target bone is going to have to change because its face is now legs. Head, spine. So what we can do is we can take this bone name head, and even though face is slightly, well, it is head, so we can call it the same thing. And the zoom level, we can also copy this to 15. This is how the camera zooms. This is something you're going to want to modify in your project down the road because you don't want it to immediately snap to a new zoom. You're going to want to do it smoothly, and especially if you're using things like Cinemachine and whatever, which I'm specifically not using in character customization by default because then it requires other package dependencies, which we don't want to do. So you can modify that as you need in your own project. Now, back to categories. We're done with categories, but what we're looking at is we did this body setup. Now, we don't have a shirt. Instead of a shirt, what we have is we have hair, or we have face 1. And again, we can select any face we want. We can even use Kyle's face. It doesn't matter. And then here we can do category F2, which is now our faces category. And here we need to remember to put in the piece, which is going to be our face. So now we have 3 of the outfits done. We have hair 1, we have body 1, and we have shirt, which needs to also be not just renamed there, but now again, what you call it here, the actual name of the scriptable object, is only for your own organization. The end user isn't going to see whether it's called face or shirt or anything you want. It could be ABC. But this is the name that's actually going to show up for the end user in the UI. Now, we have a second shirt, which can actually be face 2. This is going to be our green face. And then we need to specify the category going to be F2 for the face. And we need to call this face here, face 2. And it's also important that we take face 2 as our element. So now we have a hair, we have a body, we have 2 faces, and we have legs, which are referencing that. Now instead of legs, we still need another body, and we still need another set of hair. So we can make it body 2. We can call it body 2. This is going to be the green body with the schoolgirl outfit. Let's find it here. So again, this is in the legs. This is going to be body 02. Body 02. And we might want to organize the names here in a slightly nicer way. So instead of, we'll rename it once we make. So we're missing one more because we have 2 bodies, we have 2 faces, and we have 1 hair. So what we'll do is inside this folder, we're going to right click, create scriptable object, outfit scriptable object. And this is going to be our next outfit 5 hair 02. Because we missed a hair, we needed 1 more hair. So hair 2, the icon, it can be anything. We can make it a UnityChan hair. And order and all that we can leave. Now here for the category, we want to do F1, F being for the females. That's just how we named it. And here for hair, we're going to pick hair 2. So now we have all of these. Again, we're doing outfit 1, 0, outfit 1, all that, just so that it's in order here alphabetically inside this folder. You can rename them however you want. Now we notice that we have hair here, and then we have body, and then we have body, and then we have face and face. So why not take this body, rename it to just going to temporarily rename this to 6. This is because I want to take hair and I want to name hair 2 as 1. So now we have hair, hair 2, face, face 2, body, and then this body can turn into 5. Right? Now, it's also important that we take a moment to look inside our character matrix female. We want to make sure that all these are off. As you can see, elf dress, body, face, hair, elf hair. Again, this is also how it's named inside this collision matrix. We can dock it here for a moment. Now, maybe we want to name this elf hair instead of hair 2. We can call it red hair. And now you can see it's updated here. Red hair. And these are going to be collisions which we can set up later. But first, we want to make sure it works without collisions. So, elf hair, red hair, face. We can call this green face. The second one, and then body, body 2, and elf dress. Oh, so one thing to note here is this is actually the body 1, right? Made a mistake here and called them both body, but this is actually, I'm just going to rename these so that they make sense. Again, these names aren't important. This is just how I am organizing. You can organize however you want in your project. So elf dress is the first one, and elf uniform can be the second one. All right. So now that we have all of these names and everything is set up with the corresponding outfit scriptable objects, we can go in our game scene and try to hit play and see what happens. And if everything's done right, we should be able to go into select gender, select female. Now we can see that we can have the elf hair, we can have the red hair. Of course, we can have both because we're not colliding. But we don't want that. Red hair. Now we can go uniform or uniform. And now we're going into a T-pose. And this is a problem because that means that something is broken in our setup because she's supposed to be animating. Oh, but I know what the problem is. The problem is that I forgot to specify the animator in our female base. So if we take our new female base for a moment, we have an animator here, and there's no controller runtime. We can do this right on the prefab, right? And we have 2 placeholder animator controllers set up temporary for you to use. Of course, you can create your own. So we'll specify the female one here. Now it should be good. Now if we hit play, we'll try this one more time. Gender select female. Now you can see it's bobbing, right? You see she's moving already, and there she is. Now what you'll notice is there could be problems with this particular dress, and that's also one of the VRoid exports and kind of a unique thing to VRoid. So if we take a look at this one, this is body. This is body 2, the green one. And it has an animator component, which I don't think we want. Why is there an animator component on the body? So it looks like I forgot to do one more thing. But this is a good thing for us to check. So if we look at all our pieces, we see that the pieces have animator and all this other stuff. We don't want our pieces to have animators. So this is something that should have been removed. I forgot to do. So we'll just go in here and we'll remove this component for every single piece. If you had done this on the object in the scene before generating, then none of the pieces would have it, but now I'm doing it manually. All right, let's hit play. I think there's other components that might need to be removed that are messing up her body. Yeah, so now if you can see her dress is fine, but it's this body too that seems to have the problem. All right, so after a tiny bit of digging, I identified that the problem is unique to VRoid because not all the skeletons that are exported are actually identical. And this is because some of the different clothing actually have additional bones that get added for that unique piece of clothing. So to help identify that and to address the issue with clothing deformation, I'm going to make a brand new scene. And I went and made a tiny little script right here. It's not inside the package right now. You can copy it and write it yourself. But all it's really doing is identifying what the unique bone names are. So it takes in 2 game objects, first and a second, then it creates a list, and it figures out what is missing between the two lists. So what is the second object missing in its children, what's the first object missing in its children, and it'll print it out into the console. So this is the script. If you're curious and you want to, you can take a screenshot and copy it over. Eventually I will be including that in the package in a subsequent update. But to get that script set up, we will make a new empty game object and a new scene. We'll call it compare. We'll add the compare child hierarchy. Next, the character builder female. This is, so our base character didn't have all the bones when we created it because we created it from the black dress, and normally the black dress character and the green skin character would be identical. Because VRoid is different with the bones, we have to make these adjustments. This isn't the case for other characters and things like Character Creator 3, and so it's a VRoid specific thing. So now let's go and find our green skin girl, which is going to be girl number 3. Now in order to compare, we're going to compare the female and we're going to compare the girl 3, and we're just going to hit run on the compare script and look at the console output. And what the console output is going to show us is girl 3 is missing all of these things, and character builder female is missing just these things. So if we take JSEC L back, for example, now you don't have to even use the script at all. You can actually just manually go through and compare the roots to see what is different, right? So we're going to go and we're going to unpack these. Prefab unpack, prefab unpack, and we're going to find this skirt back. I've already inspected these thoroughly to identify what exactly is missing. So now it's important to put these in the exact same spot. In this case, JBIPL upper leg, they both have this child, right? But inside JBIPL upper leg for the builder, there's skirt back 0, skirt front 0, and BIP lower leg. But here it's skirt back, skirt front, skirt side, and lower leg. So this side, front, back is different from back 0, front 0, the names, and well, the bones, because it's for a different piece of clothing, specifically this short skirt, like schoolgirl outfit. So we're going to take these and we're going to drag them in. So similarly, the only difference and missing piece is in builder female. The bones that we need are going to be under the right leg. So upper leg here, but this one has back 0, front 0, and lower leg. This one has back, not 0, front, not 0, side, which that one does not have, but also has lower leg. So again, we drag these over here, and now they're children of that. So we drag these from the Elf Girl 3. This is the green outfit, but specifically this piece of clothing with the schoolgirl outfit. So we can delete this now. Now, this new character builder female has the bones that character 3 with the green skin and the schoolgirl outfit needed. Now we can go and we can update the prefab by just replacing it. And if we return to our game scene, we don't need to save this temporary scene. Now if we hit play, we can select gender, female. So again, this was the hair, the red hair. Now when we go to body, this body works and this body works. Now because of how VRoid is doing things differently with all the different skeletons, every new character with a very distinct outfit is going to have these unique bones. So for example, if you were to take the black dress and modify it further, it would have the same bones. If you were to take the schoolgirl outfit and modify it within VRoid and export it out, it would have the same bones. if you've followed these steps, you will cover both of these, the long black dress and the short schoolgirl outfit. But if there's a third kind of thing, like maybe some shorts or some track pants or something that has its own set of bones, you will have to then consolidate these into a character base, because it's important that all these unique bones are in there. Otherwise, it's deforming because it can't find the bone to go towards. But just like that, one more thing we need to do now that we have these all set up is we want to specify our collisions. This is because we don't want our faces colliding, our hairs colliding. So for example, elf hair and red hair should collide. Elf dress and elf uniform and green face and face 1 should collide. So between the 6 outfits, we have 3 collisions because we have 2 in each category. So let's click away and click back, and that should save our matrix. Now, if we hit play to see what happens with these collisions, let me go customize. When we put on this set of hair, if we put on the other set of hair, you will notice that it doesn't actually have both at the same time. It went an uninstantiated hair 1 and instantiated hair 2. You see how we don't have both? We just have the one hair, either 2 or 1. Likewise, we will have body C or body. We will not have both of them. Body C is just, I renamed it when I was testing out different kinds of solutions. And likewise, face and green face and the other elf. So now what we can do is we can go and, for example, change the hair. So now we could have the green hair girl, but not with the red hair, but instead with the white hair. We can hit save, we can hit done, and now we see her in the scene. So she's completely replaced Unity Chan. And then going forward, you can follow my other tutorials to connect her with different character systems and controllers and have her game ready and proceed from there. So I hope you found this tutorial useful. For more information on setting up different kinds of characters or using Character Creator 3 or any other compatibilities, please look at the other videos, check out the documentation, and I hope you enjoy using character customization. Thank you very much.